I would like to feel God closer to me, like a good friend. I've heard that the Sacrament of Confession is an important first step. People say it is a sacred encounter in which we restore our relationship with God after sin has damaged it.
That is very true. God created us for a close and loving friendship with Him. As in any friendship, we sometimes make mistakes. When that happens, we say, "I'm sorry." Confession is the moment when we say, "I'm sorry" to God for our sins. Through the ministry of the priest, who acts in the person of Christ, God responds with love. "I forgive you."
I would really like to make a good confession, because I haven't been in many years, but I don't know how to begin. What sins should I confess?
We can understand this very simply by looking at the two commandments that Jesus gave us, the most important rules for life. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Can you explain that more?
Of course. These two commandments summarize the 10 Commandments. The first 3 commandments teach us how to love God. The remaining 7 teach us how to love others.
How can we recognize our mistakes?
Very simply, let us begin with the first commandment. Love the Lord your God. Let us think of our relationship with God as a friendship. Then we can ask ourselves some simple questions. First question: do I speak with my friend God every day? Speaking with God means praying. So the real question is, do I pray every day?
Now I understand. I know that I haven't prayed every day, but mostly when I needed something from God. I see now that this is not how friendship works. I don't talk to my friends only when I need something, but regularly to stay close to them.
Exactly. Second question: am I present at the meetings I have with my friend God? Every Sunday, God invites us to meet Him at church. So the real question is, do I go to church every Sunday?
I realize that I have failed here as well. I did not always go to church on Sundays. That would be like ignoring my friends and only visiting them when I needed something.
Right. Third question: am I careful, in my words, not to offend my friend God? Words can harm a friendship. So the real question is, do I use bad language, curse, or take God's name in vain?
I understand. Sometimes I lose my temper and say things I should not. That would be like speaking disrespectfully to a friend and hurting them.
Exactly. So far, we have reflected on our love for God. From these 3 questions alone, you can already see where you may have fallen short. When you go to confession, you will know how to begin and what sins to mention.
That makes sense. Now it seems much simpler. We've talked about loving God, but what about the second commandment, loving our neighbor?
That is the next step. Jesus said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." Since God is our Father, every person is, in a sense, our brother or sister. Therefore, loving others is an essential part of our relationship with God.
How can I recognize my mistakes toward others?
We can examine our lives in 3 simple areas: thoughts, words, and actions. First question: do I harbor negative or harmful thoughts about others? For example, judging others harshly, jealousy or envy, resentment or hatred, wishing harm to someone. Even if no one sees our thoughts, they shape our hearts.
So even interior attitudes matter.
Yes, God sees the heart. Love begins within us. Second question, have I hurt someone through my words? For example, speaking with anger, insults or harsh language, gossip, lies or dishonesty. Words have great power. They can heal or wound.
That's true. Sometimes words hurt more than actions.
Exactly. Words can either build up or destroy relationships. Third question, have my actions harmed others or myself? For example, acting selfishly, refusing to help someone in need, causing harm to others, taking what does not belong to us. Sin is not only the wrong we commit, but also the good we fail to do. Love is always visible in how we act.
So confession is not just about big sins, but also about everyday failures in love.
Precisely. Confession helps us grow in love, not just avoid wrongdoing.
How should I actually confess these things?
Very simply and honestly, confession is like speaking to a loving father. Instead of vague statements, we try to be concrete, not just, I was not always good, but I neglected prayer, I spoke harshly to someone, I acted selfishly.
That makes sense, like telling the truth clearly.
Exactly. God already knows. Confession is about opening our hearts.
Is it not discouraging to see so many imperfections?
Not at all. Only God is perfect. The important thing is sincerity, recognizing our faults and turning back to God. Confession is a place of healing, not condemnation. If you wish to prepare more carefully, you can use an examination of conscience, often available in churches. It provides helpful questions that guide reflection on your relationship with God, others, and yourself. It simply helps you remember and examine your life honestly.
I think I will use that. I truly want to make a good confession, but I still worry about one thing. What if I forget my sins?
That is very common. If it helps, you may write down what you wish to confess. This can bring peace and clarity. Remember, God is not looking for perfect memory, but for an open heart.
And if I remember something after confession?
If it is something small, there is no need for anxiety. If it is something serious, simply mention it at your next confession. What truly matters is honesty and the desire to be reconciled with God.
Now I feel more at peace. Confession no longer seems frightening.
That is because confession is not about humiliation. It is about grace, mercy, and renewal. When we confess, we do not stand before a judge alone. We stand before a loving God who desires to forgive and restore us.
Now I feel ready to approach this sacrament. I want to be at peace with myself and with God.
A sincere confession will bring exactly that: forgiveness, peace, strength, and renewal of the heart. Confession is where the sinner meets the mercy of God.